So what we do is seed tray. This is what we call a half size seed tray rather than a full standard. And what you do is pile up your seed sowing mix right up to the top. Nice and loose over the top. No firming down as you fill. Get it all the way up, like so. And then this is what we call a pressing board. You could use a piece of wood, but this one's made up exactly for a tray like that. And we just loosely, again, without firming, level off the top of the tray so that the compost is level with the side of the tray. And then I'm going to use this pressing board to firm down the compost a little bit. Because if I don't firm down the compost, what will happen is after I sow the seed, it'll have natural settlement. And then I'll have some seed too deep and some will be getting washed off. So what I'll just do is I'll press down gently, even pressure with my fingers on the pressing board, making sure that I get the corners firmed down as well. Okay. And what I have then is a level, even surface for the seeds. So when I sow the seeds on this now, they're all going to be at the same depth. None of them too deep, none of them too shallow. And if somebody wants to just maybe feel the surface of that, it's like good fresh bread or a sponge. It's firm, but there's a bit of give in it. So although I firmed it, I haven't compacted it. Feel that there. Right. So there's good firmness, but a bit of give. And what I could do then is water it first. That's a good thing to do. A little bit dry, ideally for home, but I'll leave the watering until later. So the next stage, which I really should do, is write my label. Now if you're using plastic labels like this, you can save them. Always use a pencil rather than pen on them, and that means you're able to reuse them. Just rub off last year's marking on them with an ordinary rubber. So this is lettuce, and it's called Little Gem, the variety. It's a nice kind of crispy leaved lettuce, not quite an iceberg, but a crispy one. You'd often see them for sale in the supermarkets, Little Gem as well. Now, so I always write across the label, lettuce, Little Gem, and on the top I'm going to write today's sowing date, 15th of the 2nd, 2012. So I just do the date on the top. Okay, so I'll leave that just there on the side of the tray. So you can stick them in upright, but if you use like one of these plastic propagators at home with a lid, often they don't fit in with the label sticking up. So get a seed out into your hand, and I say the lettuce seed is quite small and they don't like to be very deeply covered. That's plenty of seed there for that. So when I sow the seed on the seed tray, I want it in such a way that it's evenly distributed and none of the seed should be touching each other. Because if the seeds touching each other, they're too close together. And when they start to grow and germinate, they're competing with each other for light and for water, and the plants can then are under stress and they can be straggly. And this way, by spacing them out, they'll grow quite uniform. So I won't have to be worrying too much about good ones and bad ones when we go to move them on to the next stage, what we call pricking out. So we have the seeds over the surface there. They'll need a light covering in the case of the lettuce seeds. I have a peat mix here. I'm not going to use the same seed mix because the perlite's very heavy just from fitting through the sieve. So I can just use simple peat mix into the seed sowing sieve. This is a wooden frame and it's got a zinc mesh on the middle. And I've got the father to make them up. Notice when I use this seed sowing sieve, I'm not shaking like I'm dancing. Alright? I'm not going like that. Because what happens if you move it from side to side is you get a pile in the middle. So the seeds in the middle are too deep and the ones on the side aren't covered enough. So you hold the sieve up high, okay, hold it up high, and you move the soil in the sieve, and you move the sieve to the place where you want the compost to lie. And so you only need a light covering these lettuce seed. I think some people don't cover lettuce seed at all. I always have, and it works. So that's a great bit in gardening. If it works for you, you don't change it. So before I finish covering it, I'll just show you there, you can see